Hello and welcome to another Blackboard tutorial video. In this video we're going to be talking about how to create digital drop boxes for students to complete assignments on Blackboard. This can be really useful as both a space and a time saver because it means that you can accept digital documents and digital copies of assignments rather than having to have the student print off the document and hand it in person. So let's dive right in. What I've got is a basic Blackboard course here, and to get started, what I want to do is go over to my build bar here, click on assessments, and then click on assignment. So everything that the students basically that could be assessed in Blackboard is all under this assessments option here. So I've got test surveys, peer assessments, safe assignments, McGraw-Hill, mobile compatible, proctored tests, all that kind of stuff. Anything that could possibly be created is located basically on this menu for you. In this instance, what I want to do is I want to create an assignment. And this video is not going to cover the Safe Assign plagiarism detection service. That's actually covered in a later video. And you can view that on the Blackboard resources course site. But for now, we're just going to be talking about the basic Blackboard assignments. So I'm going to click on assignment. And when the page loads, what I'm going to get is a nice little wizard that walks me through the process of creating my assignment. The first thing that we have is name on this screen here. So I have to give my assignment a name. I'm going to call it Essay 1. And I'm going to give my students some instructions to post here. Please attach Essay 1 here. Some basic instructions to the student to guide them on what I'm asking them to do. I wouldn't recommend actually pasting the entire instructions for the assignment, like all the details of what the students have to do. It's much easier to post that in a Word document so the students can view. And the reason that you want to do that is because this will take up a lot of page room on the page very quickly, and students, generally speaking, don't like to scroll when they're on a website. It's a natural behavior that they'll only scroll a couple of times to be able to see that. If the assignment is posted in a Word document, they're far more likely to actually read it and view it, and then refer back to it later, rather than putting all your instructions in this little box. So you can think of this instructions box as basically just like a guidepost. The next thing that we have here is the points possible, and this is what the assignment is actually going to be graded out of, depending on how you mark. I like to make everything marked out of 100, and one important thing to note here is that this is not what the assignment is worth out of the entire course. That can be easily calculated in the Blackboard Grade Center a little bit later. The computer is really good at figuring out percentages and making all that very easy. This is what you're actually marking the paper out of. So whether it's 50 or 100 or 20 or 10 or 1 or whatever, you put that number in here, not the actual worth of the entire course. You have the option to select a rubric if you have one created. We're going to do another video a little bit later that goes into creating rubrics, but if I wanted to grade this assignment on a rubric, I could select my rubric here. I don't have any for this course right now, so there's nothing to select, but if I wanted to grade on a rubric, that's how I would do it. I have the option to allow single attempts, unlimited attempts, or a certain number of attempts if I want. Most of the time that's probably going to be at single attempt, but it's up to you. And then again, along with most Blackboard options, I have this display after and display until. And this is really important because what it does is it allows you to control when the icon is actually going to appear for the student. So if I have a display after in here, this icon will not appear for the students until after this time has passed. If I have a hard due date, like the students cannot submit the assignment after a certain date, I want to put that in here. Because what this will do is make the actual Dropbox disappear for the student after that certain point. Okay, but you really want to be careful with that because, again, it means that the student will not see the Dropbox after this date is set. So if you want to allow late submissions, or a student might come off and say something happened, I couldn't submit my assignment on time, you don't want to have to go back to doing that in paper. So again, this is when the icon will disappear for the students, and this is when it will appear for the students. So you can set those in accordance with your own policies for your course. The other option that is extremely useful is the due date option, and this has two purposes. One, it will put the due date for your assignment on the student's calendar itself. And the calendar is really, really important to the students because it's consolidated for all of their Blackboard courses. So whatever you put on the Blackboard calendar is going to feed into the student's sort of master calendar for all the courses that they're enrolled in. The other thing that it allows the students to do is take their calendar and put it on their phone or in their Google account or anything like that really, really, really easily. So that's something that's very important to helping keep our students organized. The other thing that it will do is when you're going through and grading, if an assignment has been submitted after the due date, it will tell you that it's late. So you don't always have to use this hard and fast display until icon disappearing situation up here. You can simply set a due date and Blackboard will tell you if the student has submitted that assignment late. It's actually very obvious. It comes up in big red letters. This assignment was submitted after the due date. So I want to submit my due date. I'm going to give my students until next Friday at 11:59 p.m. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to set the assignment due date as 4 p.m. And this is another little tidbit of information that IT strongly recommends that you consider, is that instead of giving your making your assignments due at 11:59 p.m. or at the end of the day, we recommend that you set your assignment due date at the end of a business day. And the reason for doing that is because if the students have until 11:59 p.m., chances are that you'll get a fair chunk of them that aren't going to submit it until maybe closer to 11 o'clock. If for whatever reason something goes wrong for them, they have technical difficulties with submitting their assignment, there's no one manning the service desk at 11 o'clock at night. We've all gone home and gone to sleep. Whereas if it's at 4 o'clock, the service desk is open right up until 10 o'clock during the academic year. So if it's at the end of business today, the end of business in a day, the student can get in touch with you. They can get in touch with IT. They have a lot more resources at their disposal in a given day. So for that reason, we recommend that you make your due dates the end of business rather than the end of the calendar day. So 4 o'clock is a good method, I think. So I've set all my criteria. Again, just to quickly review, we have the name, we have the points possible, we have our display until, display after, so when the icon is going to appear and disappear for the students. We have the due date, so it appears on their calendar, and we just want to click submit when we're all done. Okay, there we go, and you can see here that I have a nice new icon here for my students to go in and submit their assignments. And I'm just going to quickly go into student view here to show you what that looks like for the student. So the student comes in and they click on essay number 1, and all they have to do is attach a document here and add a little nice comment to their teacher and click submit, and they're done. That's all they have to do to submit their paper. It's all digitally uploaded and tracked with a true timestamp that's relative to the server rather than you having to take and process and cart around all that paper. So this is an extremely useful feature, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. In our next installment, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to actually mark these assignments. Thank you for watching.